Overwhelmed by life's hustle? Watch till the end to discover 6 tips to help you live a softer, more feminine flow in your life. This is where we're going to break down how you can achieve less stress and more alignment. In this video, you'll learn how to reduce stress so that you can streamline your tasks and release the energy of the constant hustle. You'll discover hacks that sync with your natural energy and priorities. This is where you'll learn to work smarter and not harder. You'll learn how to embrace strategies that help you accomplish more without burning out. With these practices, you'll create more flow in your life. You'll shift from rigid routines to intuitive productivity that feels good in the process. You'll find ways to prioritize self-care. This will help you build a life where taking care of yourself is non-negotiable and guilt-free, and you'll leave feeling empowered. This is where you gain control of your time and your energy, creating space for what truly matters. This wouldn't be an episode without talking about the energy of a softer life. My name is Kara. I'm an intuitive life coach that teaches you about energetic tools. This is where we bridge the gap between productivity and spirituality for the ultimate flow in your life. Some of the pros of embracing a softer life: reduces burnout and honors the natural rhythms. It enhances your creativity and emotional well-being, and it aligns you with personal growth and family needs without sacrificing growth. The cons are that it requires a mindset from releasing hustle culture. This hustle culture is really embedded in Pluto and Capricorn, and now we're in the age of Aquarius, which requires a little bit more innovation and imagination. You may experience possible guilt about slowing down, especially if you're used to constant productivity. Stay tuned for 6 practical tips to balance softness with the real-world goals. Creating a softer life requires tuning into energy. If you give the energy of always being in a rush, hustling from here to there, never really taking a moment to reflect in, that is what's going to happen in your external reality. So creating a softer life begins with the importance of energy, understanding our own energy that we are bringing to the table. You can use tools like your menstrual cycle, the moon phases, human design. All these tools give you the idea and the understanding of energy and how you can use it in your daily life. These are energetic tools to help you understand how you operate and when you need to sit back, take a breath, and when you can get all the things done. So let's break down the concept of Floductivity. This is where you bridge the gap between spirituality, your intuition, with productivity. This is where you're going to optimize your daily energy levels. If you're expecting yourself to show up when your energy is low, that's going to lead you to burnout. Believe me, I went through it, and it took me understanding my own energy and energetic tools to understand and use them to my advantage. I get it. We're busy women. We're juggling all the things. But when you honor your need for rest, you are going to be more productive and more in flow with your energy. And you're going to be the person that you need to be for yourself, your family, and your work. This concept isn't about doing less, about focusing your energy on the impact of doing what truly matters the most. It takes patience, it takes learning, and it takes reflection. Showing up for yourself every day is an important aspect for you to be the best version who you know you're meant to be. So the real question is, what are the hacks for you to start living your softer life? Stay tuned, because I have the steps for you to take action today. Now remember, everybody's energy is different, so take these suggestions and internally reflect what's going to work for you. The first one is your morning ritual. This is something that has really changed the game for me. It sets the tone for the entire day. No matter if I'm taking the kids to school, I have a meeting first thing in the morning, I always make sure that I have a ritual in the morning that's going to connect me to my mind, body, and spirit. So for example, one of my favorite things that I've been doing recently is sitting with a cup of coffee and reading a self-development book. This is where it gives me the energy and the ideas of what I should do moving forward. Sometimes I start my morning with my red light face mask, put on some music, and really just anchor in the soft, slow morning. Sometimes, if I need to have confidence because I'm recording content, I will put on my inner teen, inner child playlist. It gives me a chance to move my body, get into the energy that I want to reflect in the content that I'm making. My morning routine fluctuates fits with my energy. And for me, that's really important. For you, you might need the same thing every day. So it's up to you to decide and really create a plan for your mornings. Another aspect that I do in the mornings is journaling, really thinking about the intention that I want to set for the day. How you start your morning is going to set the tone for the entire day. So make sure you give it at least 5 minutes, if not an hour, if you have the time. Even if I take my kids to school, I'll take a few moments to get grounded, take some deep breaths. It only takes a couple minutes. And then when I get home, I have a little bit of time before I start my workday that I can really set the tone for my mind, body, and spirit. Number 2 is for the women who experience a cycle, and that is cycle planning. This practice has completely changed my life. I was expecting myself to show up the same way every day. And guess what? I can have a lot of energy. And so if I'm expecting myself to bring this high energy into the days where I need a little bit more rest and reset, that's how I ended up burning out. If you want to learn about how you can cycle plan, check out my cycle planning freebies at kiradempsey.com/cycle. This is a practice that's going to take time to get used to. So leave space, leave time for reflection, and it's just getting to know yourself, your energy, and how you can use it. So a little tip that I like to give is giving your energy a number. Is it 1 super low or 10 super high? There's no judgment on the number that you give it. But at the end of the day, think about giving that number and how you honored it a grade. A, I showed up for myself. B, it was okay. C, I could do better. D, we're going to try again tomorrow. F, okay, we need some reflection and how we expected ourselves to show up differently than our energy was telling ourselves. So try this practice, see how it works for you, and don't forget to get my freebies. Number 3 has changed the game for me in the way I do work, and it's intentional batching. And I actually batch my work around my cycle. This is where I group similar tasks together and schedule them around my cycle in optimal times. So for example, this week I'm recording my content because my energy is high and I have the capacity to do so. Next week, my energy is going to begin to lower. So I am going to make sure that I get the cleaning, any sort of meal planning done ahead of time so that I can rest and reset before getting into the next round of work. Right after my period's done is when I sit down and I plan out my content for the month. I plan out my meals for the family for the month, and I leave room for adaptability, but I get the brunt of the work done in that time. Number 4 is emotional check-ins. This is where you pause before you start your day. You check in with your energy. This is where you add in check-ins throughout the day. Maybe after a meeting, see how it made you feel. If you had to send an email, all these little moments that just take a second or two to check in with your energy, grade yourself on how you're using your energy, and see how you can revise moving forward. This is where you can adjust your plan if your energy or emotions are trying to tell you something. Take a moment, reflect, and even journal if you have the time. It's also really important at the end of your workday or before you're going to bed to just have this emotional and energy check-in. The more we understand and we are aware of our energy and our emotions, the more we can use this as a guide on how we can adjust moving forward, especially if we're overwhelmed. Number 5 is mindful movement. This is where you incorporate low impact exercises into your daily life. You can think about stretching, walking. This is where you're keeping your energy circulating, letting go of any energy that's stagnant in your body so that you're not leading to burnout. For example, a few things that I've added into my life, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was like an all or nothing. If I couldn't go for a 30-minute walk, I wouldn't do it. And I had to let go of that mindset. That was holding me back. So for example, in the morning, I do a little stretch. Today, when I had my little inner teen music playlist, I was singing and dancing to get the energy flowing. Every night, I have a little ritual on my alarm clock, and for 5 minutes, I will move my body. I look silly. I don't care. No one's watching, but it's getting that stagnant energy out of my body. Also consider after you eat a meal, just moving your body for 2 minutes, going for a walk around the house. It's these small moments that you're moving this energy out of your body. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing feeling. I use the Hatch alarm clock, and I love using these rituals in my morning and evening routine to just get that energy that's stagnant out of my body. You can also think about using tools like breath work. The goal is any sort of emotion or energy that's stuck gets released. Or if you need to kind of bring up your vibe, using your body to be the conduit for that is super powerful. The last one is a digital detox. Yes, that means taking a break from social media, taking a break from the shows that you're watching so that you can create time and space for your inner knowing to come through. And if you're someone that does experience a cycle, doing this at the end of your luteal phase is probably the best time because you're more emotionally vulnerable. This is where we stop comparing ourselves to other people's lives. Remember, they're just sharing their highlight reel. They're not showing the ins and outs of their daily life. So we're expecting ourselves to show up in a way different from our energy, and that's going to drain us. Consider getting a good book, taking a bath, going for a walk in nature. Really consider nurturing yourself in this process. Now, my last tip is super important to me. It's something that revived me during the pandemic, and it's called a Floductivity retreat. I have a planner that you can check out that helps you go through the process of building your own retreat. Don't worry, you just need a little bit of time. I would do mine for 24 hours. I would be in the house with my family, and I would just need to make sure that I would communicate my expectations, the spaces I needed to have to myself. It takes some planning. So, my suggestion on creating this time and space for yourself is to plan it out prior. So that way, when you have the time and energy to really focus and nurture yourself, you can just get right to it. The planner really helps you plan it out, build the toolkits to help you keep accountable, and creating the rules, like not being on social media, so that you have a successful retreat at the end. It really helps you define what your objective is for the retreat. Are you looking for rest and rejuvenation, or are you looking for inspiration and creativity? You can use this retreat planner over and over again and get a different outcome every single time. It's a powerful practice, and I suggest it for anyone who is trying to create a softer life because you're giving yourself the time, the energy to really tap into your inner knowing and reflect before moving forward. So make sure you check that out below. I just felt called to do a reading real quick on just giving you a deeper insight on how you can get a softer life in your journey. So what mindset shift do you need to embrace the softer approach to your productivity? Believe in yourself. Like, you can do this. It took me having a spiritual awakening to be like, I don't like how my life is. I have the power to change my external reality. And for me, it was creating a softer life, especially in the mornings. Starting out my day being overwhelmed did not do well for my body and my energy. Okay, where can you release resistance or guilt into slowing down? Embrace the in-between. So this feels like, if you're like me, where you have the high energy and the low energy, sometimes the in-between and finding the task is something that takes us sitting in with our inner knowing. So just knowing that our life goes in waves and sitting in the in-between is super powerful. How can you nurture your feminine energy while still achieving your goals? Okay, so just trusting that the sweet results await. The more you tap into your energy, the more you really sit and reflect on how you're using it and what you can do moving forward is going to help you connect with this sweet results. I really hope this reading resonated. Tell me in the comments which part felt really resonant to you, because this community is super important to me. I want to make sure that this is a comforting, empowering space for you to really find out who you are truly at a soul level and empowered to go after your goals once you really connect with that aspect of yourself, or as you're connecting with that aspect, because growth is always happening. We're always growing. So thank you so much for being here. So let's recap the steps that I'm empowering you to take for a softer life. I actually gave you 7 because that Floductivity retreat literally saved my life during a time of unknown and starting over. We talked about the morning ritual. We talked about using our cycles and our planning, using our energy and making intentional task batching, making sure that we're having emotional and energy check-ins, incorporating mindful movement throughout the day, and making sure that we incorporate a digital detox so we're not being influenced by external influences. And lastly, scheduling some time for you to really connect with yourself and figure out what you need moving forward with a Floductivity retreat. You can do it on your own, or you can get a planner that helps walk you through it. Make sure you grab my cycle planning freebies to help you understand the energy of the phases of your menstrual cycle. And if you want to learn more about the energy of flow, check out my Feminine Energy for Success video. Building this community is at the top of my list for 2025. So I would love if you could subscribe, share this with a friend, and tell me in the comments which part of this episode had the biggest takeaway for you. I appreciate your support. I can feel the energy. Thank you so much for being here. We'll chat soon.